Hey coders, in this video we're going to teach you guys how to start making your own screens based on what you did on the previous assignment. So let's go ahead and take a look at the previous assignment. If you go to the classwork tab, you'll see that the activity guide that you guys turned in is right here, right? You guys should all had your own version turned in. Um, so I'm just going to click on the template one here. And down here, you're supposed to have written your description of your screens. And now you're going to use this to go ahead and create it. Okay. Now for you guys don't have a paper prototype like the book does or the curriculum does, but you guys have a good idea of what you want to do on each screen. So now here's your chance to kind of make that description come to life. Now for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use this picture right here. Okay. So they have like this little example of what's for lunch. And I'm going to make this app as a demonstration for you guys to help you guys do your own. Okay. So let's just look at the first screen. The first screen is sufficient software, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and make the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this right now. So instead of screen one, I'm going to call it start screen or something. And it doesn't really matter how you name it as long as you're consistent. Now they use an underscore. I'm not going to use an underscore. I'm just going to use a capital letter for each one. So I'm going to say start screen. It's going to have a default theme. Now you can start using some of the other themes that you like here. So if you like something, different um, and whatnot, what's for lunch? So it's a food app. I think food app usually use some type of green color. I don't know, whatever you guys want. It's up to you. I'm going to use, let's say, use pink. I don't know. All right. So here's the theme, and I'm going to kind of use this theme throughout. So I got my start screen, and I'm looking at my design. And of course, you can design it either in your head or using the text that you wrote down here. It's going to have the word sufficient, uh, sufficient software. So it's like a logo for their company or something. Okay. So that's gonna be a label or a text area. So I'm just gonna use a label. So I'm gonna drag a label here. Okay. I'm gonna make it bigger so it's kind of like the right size. So I gotta make sure I grab the angle. It's gonna be like something like that. Okay. It's gonna have big text. The text is like it's gotta be at least based on this picture. It looks like it's at least 30 pixels or so. So I'm just gonna try 30. Okay. And it's gonna say sufficient software on 2 lines. It looks like they're going to use kind of, actually, I'm going to do this. It looks like they're using 1S for both of these. So maybe I'm going to change my mind. Maybe I'm not going to use a text. I'm going to delete this. So you can hit delete right here. And I'm actually just going to put an image. So it's going to be image that's going to say sufficient software. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to make this image separately and put it in later. So I'm just going to, for now, I'm just going to put here, call it um, sufficient software image, something like that. Okay. So sufficient software image is just a little thing that's going to match. I'm going to create it probably on Google Draw or something like that. Okay, it's going to have its own canvas. So the canvas is going to be customized. So here's a canvas, something like that. Now let's see what canvases let us do. It lets us change the height, width, and give it a name. Actually, I'm going to take this back. I'm not going to use a canvas. Canvas doesn't seem like it doesn't really let us do anything anyway. It even doesn't let us upload an image. So I'm just going to, looks like if I want to create this little fancy design like this, I'm just going to create another image. So I'm just going to pull another image and go from the top left, drag it to the top bottom. Okay. And this is where images matter in which order you do it. So you're always going to want to put order. Um, so that one is on top of the other. So let's say this is going to be my, I'm going to stretch it out just a little bit more here. Something like that. This is going to be my image, border image, something like that. Okay. Then I eventually will pick images for each one. So now, for example, I don't see my first image. You guys can go here. You can go to this and then get access to it. Now I'm seeing if it's any order I could use in case one goes over the other. Let's go ahead and run and see what we see. Um, the images don't look like they show up. So let's see, event, order, fit image, contain, border width, border color, hidden. Let's go ahead and hide this one for now. It's not going to matter because it's not going to be able to be seen anyway. Um, so let's see. I basically got rid of that one. It looks like order does matter. So let's go ahead and put the other image first, or make this image the sufficient one. Um, let's see, is there anything else I can do to make it give it some order? I'm surprised that doesn't have an order back of which when it is drawn first. So let's go ahead and recreate. I'm going to Control Z. Nope, it's not going to let me Control Z. Okay, I'm going to put back that image that's on the background. Okay. Again, this is going to be my border background or something. Border background. And anyway, the naming convention is what screen is it on? So I actually got to put start screen. Start screen and I'm going to put border image, something like that. And let's go ahead and go back to this one and let's me move it. I guess it just makes sense now. Now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't make sense to make two different images anyway. One that overlaps the other. Just make one do both. So I'm just going to delete this altogether. I'm going to come here, hit delete. I'm just going to make this thing the whole thing. It makes sense that this is just the entire start screen. So this is going to be logo or start screen image. Just call it the entire image. I'm going to use an image instead of just trying to think about how I'm going to make each element using this. They don't really interact with this anyway. So I'm just going to make this the entire screen. And I'm going to upload an image for the screen. Now let's see if screen allows us to do this the same. Screen allows us to do the same. So I'm going to delete this whole thing. Huh. I'm not thinking straight. Now that I think about it, I don't even need an image. This start screen already has an image you can choose from. So if I'm going to do this, I'm just going to literally customize this whole screen to make it to pull it into here because like again there's no reason that I need to do anything differently because there's no really interactive stuff, so I'm just going to leave it here and I'm going to be able to choose a file later um, to to replace the entire background. Okay, so let's go ahead and create another screen. So remember, you guys remember inside one of your bubbles you can create a new screen. So this is going to be my new screen, and my new screen is going to be what's for lunch. So it is kind of like the almost like the home page, right? So let's just call it the home page. So here I'm going to change the name of it. I'm going to call it home page, right? It's going to keep the same theme. I don't need an image because I'm probably going to have to create individual text because the text is probably going to have to be clickable, right? Even though there's an image in the background, each of these technically is a button. So they'd be able to click on this button and interact with this. So let's just do the home page real quick. We're gonna have a label on top. So just grab a label. We're gonna put it out here. Come on, there we go. Something like that. And this one's pretty huge. It looks like the way that we have it looked like design. It goes across the entire top of the screen, something like that. And the text size, the text is going to be what is for lunch. What is for lunch. And it's going to be big enough um, to fit that entire width. So let's go ahead and increase the size. And you get it just about right. And you want to make sure it's centered. Okay, and let's see, 35 is too big. 34 looks just about right. What is for lunch? Okay, what is for lunch? It doesn't seem like it has a background color, so you guys can get rid of the background color here. Just clear it. Okay, I think that will make it, yep. So if you turn the background color and you click on the bottom one is transparency. So basically this is with color, this is zero with zero color. So what is for lunch? It's just a straight label. Um, and now we're going to have like these buttons. Okay. Now these buttons looks like they're going to be very odd shaped because each one's kind of like a pyramid here. Um, so there's learn about us, research how to play, and then some text inside the shape of a pyramid. So the pyramid is probably going to be an image that you're going to download or you're going to create. So I'm going to put an image here. Okay. And the image, like I said, could have all the triangles that you created, and you're going to have to customize, make those images. And then later on, you're going to choose it, right? So once you're done with the image, you're going to go here and you're going to choose it. You're going to upload your image of the pyramid that you created. But on top of the image, though, there's going to be a bunch of text because basically they're buttons that they can be clicked on. And if they're clicked on it, you can, uh, go to the next thing. Actually, you can actually use just a label. So the labels can be clicked on too. So let me go ahead and create a label. Okay. And labels actually could have on events. So let's go ahead and show you guys real quickly that this works so that you don't, if you're thinking of the same thing where you don't have a traditional button, um, you don't have a traditional button, but if you click on it, it'll still do the same thing. So let's go ahead and go to the top one. The top one again is learn. So I'm going to change the text to learn. And we're going to go ahead and make it the proper label. We're on the home page. Okay, and then we're going to do home page, learn, button. Okay, technically it's a button, even though we're using a label, because we don't want to have the square borders of a button. Um, we're going to go the background color. Again, I'm going to make it transparent. So whatever is in the background, it will kind of um, take the background color. So I'm going to have that, again, that triangle that I'm going to draw. It's going to do learn here. Looking at my prototype, it looks like the texts are about the same size. So let's just make it something reasonable. I'm gonna make it, let's go 24. 24 seems to be a reasonable size for this. I'm gonna align the text to center. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this because I think once you kind of got what you're looking for, you kind of duplicate. Okay. And now we're gonna change the name of it, obviously. So I'm gonna move the button down here. So it's not gonna be learn, it's gonna be about us. So I'm gonna do about us. And I'm gonna change it again. Um, it's gonna be homepage, right? Because we're gonna use the same name convention. Homepage, and it's gonna be about us, and it's a button technically, even though it looks like a label. And I'm gonna increase the size to make sure it fits. It's gonna again keep the same settings. It's gonna be centered. 24. I'm gonna duplicate it again, and actually about us is gonna be a space here. About us. Duplicate. Create another one. I'm gonna drag it down here. Try to keep it about the same spacing as it looks up here. And the next one is going to be research. So I'm going to change this to research, right? And I'm going to go name it correctly. It's going to be the home page research button. Okay. And now duplicate again and check my prototype here, how to play. And if I feel like, oh, it looks like I'm kind of too small, I'm not using up enough of the canvas space, it looks like this is going to be about more than 50% of the screen. This looks like it's more than 50% of the screen. So now that I see it, I'm like, oh, okay. I can totally make this a little bit more spread out. Something like that. And since it's going to be in the middle of a triangle, imagine your triangle right here. You don't want, according to this, you want everything to kind of fit in nicely. Maybe I need to decrease the size of the word learn. But the idea is that it's all going to fit inside this pyramid. So I'm just kind of like preparing myself ahead of time, kind of getting everything where I want it. Okay. All right. So the next button is how to play. So how to play. All right. And you can see right here that it's not quite big enough. So I'm going to enlarge it, center it again, something like that. How to play. I'm going to rename the ID correctly. So it's going to be home page uh, how to play button. Okay. And same idea. Last one, duplicate, go down. Okay. Looks like try to get about the same spacing. So it looks like I can do a little bit more. And the last one's just going to be play. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to change the proper name. It's going to be home page uh, play button. Okay. And again, I mean, I know the names are very long, but once you start coding, it's going to populate on its own. So the longer the name, the easier it is for you to identify which button is which. So you're not going to be confused. So again, I'm going to create an image of a triangle um, with the pyramid on it because that obviously is not going to be customized here. And it looks like it has some text down here. I don't know what text is for. So I'm just going to make a text area and reserve it. I don't know what exactly the original designers had in mind, maybe instructions or something. So I'm just going to create one and I'm going to, again, turn the background to transparent. So basically it absorbs the background in the back. So it's there, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and rename it even though I don't know exactly what it's for yet. So I'm going to go home page. I'm just going to call it text. I'm going to just call it reserve. Reserve text area. And again, you're not doing this exercise with me. You're just seeing some of the tools I'm using to kind of create and name properly all the different pages. Okay, so let's try to do maybe one more page uh, and show you guys how easy it is. Because now this page will link to all the other pages. So let's go look at a page where it's maybe a little bit more interesting. So here there's a little pyramid with some info, some facts, and then there's a back button here. Um, that one's interesting. Let's actually use I don't know, this something right here. So here, let's do this page and this page. Okay, this is kind of like the main part of your game. Okay, so let's call it the choose three item page. So I'm gonna go back here. Oops, go back here. And let's go ahead and create another page. So you go here, new screen. Let's go and let's name it. Let's call it the you choose. And just call it the choose three item page or screen. Okay. And let's go ahead and start adding in. So it looks like from the prototype that we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Seven foods in an area where you can put it in. And the button says submit. If you can see it real quickly, it says submit. So that's the idea. So there's going to be a submit button. So let's go ahead and add that. That's kind of easy. Let's go ahead and put in a button, right? And let's go ahead and make it submit. Let's call it sub. And we got to name the page first because we're going to have a lot of pages. So it's going to be um, choose three item, submit, button. Okay, so I'm going to change it to submit. And I kind of like the color they got going on right here. It kind of contrasts really nicely with the pink background. Okay, and it's just going to be a button, and it's centered already. It has kind of the default what you would expect. Okay, all right. And now is the interesting part: is how do we implement a area where if they drop the image, they can drag the image into this area. If it's in this area, we're going to give it uh, that's the item they chose. So let's go ahead and it looks like from the prototype that the people drag and click and move things into my lunch. So we're going to have like a canvas here. So I guess this is where we use canvas. And I'm actually going to program this little game that they made. So so you guys will actually see the code to this eventual thing. And I'm going to call it the my lunch or the right page, the choose three item my lunch choices, my lunch choices, and it's going to be a canvas type. So you always want to add to the back what kind of type it is. So choose three item is the name of the page. My lunch choices is kind of like my way of I can give it. I guess I can get the word choices. Or I like my choices. My choices and the type is a canvas. So I'm going to probably use this canvas in some coding to say if the items are dragged onto my lunch, um, uh, when they hit submit, make those my choices. So let's go ahead and do something like this, make it nice and even. Okay. And let's start putting some images. So it looks like, I think from the prototype that there are, looks like 7 choices here. So let's go ahead and add 7 choices. I think obviously later on you can create different ones more. Okay. Is there anything at the top? The top says choose 3 items. Let's go ahead and do that first. Let's go ahead and grab a label, put a label on top, and it says choose 3 items. Okay. And it's going to be kind of long enough to go across the screen here. And maybe you have to drag it down a little bit. Let's go ahead and increase the size to fit. Okay, make sure it's centered. Let's kind of utilize the entire width of the screen. Looks like I can make it a little bit bigger. I can get to a nice round number like 40. Nope. Okay, I like even numbers. 38. Again, I'm going to take the border or the background color and just make it transparent because I want it to absorb whatever colors in the background. If you want to make it so that it has a little bit of a border, that's up to you. Again, it's just this is like a design thing, whatever you feel like it's good for your eyes, what you like. Um, so we're gonna have 7 buttons or 7 images that they can click on. So the thing about these images is that maybe they're transparent. So I'm just gonna make sure that they have apparently, nope, they don't have transparency. So we're just going to leave it as an image. Um, we're going to start renaming this. Let me get good habit renaming again. So we have this. This is just a label. So this is going to be the choose 3 item. Uh, um, I'm going to call it instruction label. Okay. So kind of tells what the person to do, which is to choose 3 items. This image here, I'm going to try to figure out this is the size that I want because it looks like I'm going to need about 2 of these. So I'm going to go 80 by 80. So 80 by 80. And I'm going to rename this. I'm going to go, again, we got to use the right naming convention here. So it's going to be choose 3 item and it's going to be food 1 image. Okay. So choose 3 item, food 1 image. And I'm actually going to copy this with Control C because my gut tells me is I'm going to duplicate this a lot of times. So what's the point in me making, different buttons and redoing the sizes all over again? I'm just going to hit duplicate, drag it over here. I'm going to Control V because I already copied it. I'm going to call it food 2 image. Okay. And I'm going to duplicate it again. And it looks like I probably can't fit more than 3. And it says here in my original prototype that I want 7. So, and it looks like 3 items will fit just about in here. So let's see if I have enough. Let's go ahead and keep going. And maybe if I feel like I don't have enough, it looks like if I do 3 rows like this, that's going to be not enough. So, and I want to make sure that this fits inside here, because right, that's the idea, is that this fits inside there. So maybe if I'm just a little bit more efficient with my space, it'll be something like that, something like that. It looks like I can fit one more button here. So I'm going to duplicate again, and I'll go ahead and rename these later. And I'm just going to kind of make it fancy because I have 7 of them, right? So it looks like I can make 3, 2, 3. Kind of move it up a little bit. There we go. And looks like the gap are about the same. Is the gap the same? A little bit less. Something like that. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate again. Take this button, duplicate it again. And I'm going to go back and rename all of these, so don't worry. Okay. Something like that. Something like that. And you can go ahead and, if you're really specific about how things will look, you can go ahead and um, you'll go in there and do things by hand to kind of get the exact spacing and size that you want. But it looks like the design idea kind of auto snaps things the way that you want. So let's go back and make sure I renamed it correctly. So this is food number 2. I'm gonna come here, Control V, change this to 3. And I'm gonna go here, Control Paste, call this number 4. Go here, call this number 5. Go here, call it number 6. Go here, call this number 7. And go here and call it number 8. Okay, wait, I missed one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I have 8. I'll just make 8. It looks better anyway. I decided just to make one extra choice. I can delete one, it's no big deal. But anyway, so this is the idea. So I have these food items are going to be populated in some way. I'm not quite sure. And then the idea is that, they're going to put in their um, their 3 foods, and on another screen it's going to tell them their score. So this is kind of like the page, and even though it doesn't do anything, it doesn't interact, but now at least I start having idea of how everything's starting to look. I have my home page here. I have my placed my choose 3 item page. I guess this page should be called something else actually, if I'm correct. Actually, it's called the play page, right? Because when you click on play, this is how uh, it should look. So technically, maybe I should have changed all of this to play. But anyway, I already did this. I'm not going to change it now. But it's going to be the choose 3 item page. Technically, I should have called it the play page. But you guys get an idea again of how we are designing the screens. Okay, so we're not coding anything yet. We're just designing the screens. And later on, I'll show you code on how to manipulate some of the buttons and stuff. For example, like the home page when it says learn about us, research how to play, what happens if they click on it? Does it actually can it navigate to different pages like it would if it were a button? And the answer is yes. And I will show you that later. Okay. Okay. So that's all I wanted to show you guys. Again, just start designing your screens. I'm gonna give you today and even tomorrow. So you guys have plenty of time to make your elements in screens and turn that into me as interactive lesson. Okay. So that'll be it for this video.